Burak Doga. I hope you're there. 3+0 Blitz. It's Lichess Plays. Playing for the next 2 hours, taking on all challengers, as many as I can reasonably accept, without playing a simul. All right, Burak Doga is there. Let's do this thing. I'm feeling Scandi to start, so let's go for that. Yeah, I hope you all are happy, healthy, doing well on this Sunday. Hello, Nikhil. Hello, the violinist. Greetings, everyone, in the Lichess Twitch chat, as well as those watching on YouTube as well. Let's make a trade here. This is a pawn sacrifice that tends to work out pretty well for black. So bishop g4, you get ready to castle. Difficult for white to hang on to this e5 pawn, and white has compromised their king a little bit. Even with the queen trade, it's very possible that the white king will fall under fire. So now we castle, and at minimum, I'm going to get my pawn back here, and this is going to turn out worse for white. Yeah, this is pretty brutal, because I even have the attack on c2. Pressure on f3. Too many things loose here for white. Hello, K. Buckby. Greetings, Numeroid. Good to hear, Numeroid. Okay, so yeah, I could take here and then go after the rook. However, that knight may get trapped. Honestly tempted to take this right away. I think I'm just going to do that to simplify a little bit. Get a piece off the board. I could bank this. I don't think the knight's going to get trapped. a4, I can hop right back to d4. I know it seems weird to turn this down, but I'm going to go for the full piece versus... Oh, and it was enough to encourage my opponent to resign. All right. Yeah, thanks, Burak Doga. I wouldn't recommend this line with d takes e5. I think black's having all the fun in this variation. If you're going to play this way, probably knight f3 is the best move here. But yeah, d4 on move 3. Overall, I don't think is too challenging for black. But thanks for the game. All right, we start out with a win. Side the knight. Is this... Ooh. Not going to slip this one by me, side the knight. I'm sorry. We got to play 3+0 Blitz. I'm going to be declining challenges at any other time control if I remember to. Occasionally one slips by. Friendly Dinosaur. Barney the Friendly Dinosaur. How many of you guys watched that program when you were a kid? My dad's name is Barney, actually, so we had a lot of Barney jokes in our household growing up. Barney, the Friendly Purple Dinosaur. Good luck to you if you're there. Yeah, exactly, H2, G2. Yeah, I'm trying to pay attention to the time control at all times. All right, I don't think my opponent's here. We're going to abort. We got to move on. We got to keep the games rolling here. 2 hours of Blitz. Juan China, good luck. Did he actually go by Barney? Yeah, he did. Yep, he does. Yep. All right. Symmetric so far. I usually meet d4 with d5. I occasionally play other moves like g6, d6, sometimes knight f6 on move 1, but I am rather partial to just d4, d5. Greetings, Gravity Guy. Yeah, once again, shout out to our friends on YouTube as well. Hello, Edward Reynolds, John Stevenson, Advanced Gamer. If you want to play with me, Advanced Gamer, you go on to Lichess, you search for my username, it's Fins, F-I-N-S, and you can challenge me. So you can do that from the homepage if you want, like play with a friend is one easy way to do it. Let's take the bishop. Should I be aggressive here? Let's play e5. And ask him what he's going to do about this semi-loose knight on g5. Hello, Sabudai. Yeah, I hope we get a chance to play today as well. Your grandpa's name was Barney. Uh-huh. Yeah, a bit of a more old-fashioned name, right? Hello, Sam Dom. Thank you for tuning in. Let's take this one and then simultaneously defend the pawn on c7. All right, let's play this for fun. Bishop a3. Attacking this potentially weak pawn here. I mean, this might just be a good move, but if white takes, then I take here, and then we're going to pick up this rook on the next move, because queen d2 is the only move here. And white's going to have to block with the queen again. Let's keep stuff on the board. We'll take this pawn. White's king is underdeveloped, so we will refrain from castling for the moment. Give a check. Play the Barney theme music. I don't know if I have permission from Lichess to do that, but that is tempting. All right, now we'll take then castle. And we're up a large amount of material. F4 runs into bishop G4. We'll just play this and then maybe take this bishop, depending upon what white does. Hello, Mahan. How long is the queue? We're up to almost 100 challenges right now. So, yeah, it's already stacking up. People get in early. Usually before I click live, there's about 50 to 60 challenges. So people are on the ball. Yeah, it's not technically a queue because we're not going in order, as No Joke says. I have not played any chess this weekend other than this, so this is my first time playing in a couple days. But I have my coffee. When you have your coffee, you have nothing to fear. Remember that. Greetings to No Joke Chess, by the way, as well as all the Lichess mods. Big shout out to them. They do great work. They're very dedicated. Everyone at Lichess is dedicated. And it's mostly a volunteer staff, as I understand it. Check out the Lichess leagues as well. Team 45 plus 45, also the Lone Wolf leagues. Some of the best practice you can get online, guys. I've been saying this for a long time. A lot of you have checked these leagues out or maybe even play in them. Honestly, if you're thinking about playing an over-the-board tournament someday and you've never done so, I think these Lichess leagues are some of the best possible practice you can get online to emulate a more competitive yet friendly over-the-board environment. So do check them out if you're serious about chess improvement. And it's just a good place to get regular long time control games, 30 plus 30 or 45 plus 45 games. And I believe there's even a 90 plus 30 league as well. I haven't had as much familiarity with that, but I believe an additional league started with that time control. Thank you, Huan China. Appreciate it. Yeah, so you got overextended with that knight early on. I would personally not allow knight takes g5 to be played. I do think you should drop the bishop back. Bishop h4, bishop f4. That bishop is worth keeping. And yeah, when I play e5, you just miss that threat. So probably got to play something like knight f3. Thank you for the game, though. Wow, we are well over 100 challenges now. This is great. Bike 24, let's do this. Let's play, how about the Dunst opening? Knight c3. I've known a couple players over the years who online often play knight c3 and then e4. They just pre-move this. So maybe I can do that too. It's a pretty safe pre-move because there's no way black's going to like win the knight in 2 moves. So the pawn on e4 will be protected by the white knight. If Bike 24 doesn't play, though, then that pre-move will not execute. Should I give the customary... Oh, I was about to do the knock. The knock usually gets people to wake up and play. They come to the door, blurry-eyed. Is that John? Did he accept my challenge? But you got to knock sometimes. All right. I'm tempted to go for smothered mate if black takes that pawn. Okay, doesn't take it. But now black is caught in the file of death here on the e file with the pawn protecting e7. Thank you, William Shakespeare, by the way, for linking the Lichess 45 League. Ooh, all right. Cover your eyes. Cover your eyes, everyone. This could get very ugly for Mr. Bike 24 or Mrs. Bike 24. Maybe Miss Bike 24. You never know. I have a pin here, and black can't resolve this pin by taking because they're going to get mated. Oh, man. So I can win the queen by taking here, but I want to take with the pawn because I'm still on the queen, and knight d6 is still a mate threat to guard the f7 square. I don't think black necessarily had to play f6, William. I think c6 could have been played. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm sorry, Bike. It was destined to be with the knight c3 on move 1. Yeah, thank you for the game. Against that particular move, by the way, I think d5 is one of the best replies. Occupying the center. But yeah, that was trouble. You know, a lot of times when this move gets played early on, this d5 move, or it could be e5, where there's 2 points of contact. It's possible I coined that term. I think I did. 2 points of contact. I've been saying it for, half a decade on my channel, because I think it's just the most efficient way to describe this. So hitting the pawn, hitting the knight, it's often that. It's often a pawn and a minor piece, especially a knight, because they tend to be pointed towards these outer center squares, if you will. That type of pawn break in the middle can be destructive, and you have to be very careful when this occurs. So, yeah, thank you. Very much appreciate those kind words. So, yeah, you probably do want to have a little bit better pawn protection in the center. All right, let's get this rolling again. Thanks again for the game. Shammies, you're up. Good luck, Shammies. 22-15. Coming in hot here with a 2200 plus rating. Let's play that g6 move. I am partial to this approach sometime. Maybe we'll get a Jinji sighting. A Jinji Indian. Nope. No Jinji Indian allowed. We're having some sort of King's Indian defense transposition. Some sort of hybrid. Let's play knight c6 and attack this pawn in the middle. I had a casual over-the-board game on Thursday with a group that I meet up with here in Minneapolis who plays chess. It's called Uptown Chess, if anyone is in the area and wants to check it out. And I played a guy, he's a local player, he's about 2,000 rated, and we played this exact variation, except he played knight ge2 here. d5, I can play either this or knight d4. I think both are reasonable. I'm going to go knight e7, and then I'm going to go for f5, knight f6, develop like that. Hello, Raja. What have you guys been watching chess-wise lately? St. Louis Rapid and Blitz, anyone? I saw Hikaru was kind of running away with that event. So interesting approaches here. I could play f4 and just start trying to initiate this pawn storm. I could look for a dark square bishop trade. I think I'm just going to play knight f6, though. We're just going to develop some pieces. You're watching mostly Eric Rosen, Agadmator videos. Okay. Nice. So watching the streamers. Coffee chess, Hikaru's matches. Yeah, the OTB variant is catching on YouTube lately. There's been a lot of videos about that. Dedicated to over-the-board blitz. Mottle Void says, I looked up Michael Bassman after you mentioned him recently for an example of eccentric openings. He has a few videos on YouTube. Wow, I didn't know that, actually, that he has some YouTube content. Yeah, I think I was talking about that last time, right? Bassman, he's a English international master, and he's known for playing these wacky flank openings. The Grab, the Orangutan, even G5 as black, look against E4, for instance. And he's been pretty consistent about that his entire career, and it's evidently worked to a large degree for him, being an international master. So he's a good player, and he just has one of the most unique takes on the opening in chess. I think he was most active in the 70s, 80s, that time period. But that's interesting to know that he's been posting on YouTube a little bit. E4, A6 as well, yeah. Emery Tate and Vladimir Zvagintsev are similar players, as in very original players. Yeah, those guys don't play a lot of flank openings, or didn't play a lot of flank openings, to my knowledge. But yeah, you definitely appreciate those type of players in the chess world who have their own take on the game. Is this a Dutch line? No, this is some sort of King's Indian type approach. I like the way Shammies is handling this, to be honest. I think they haven't overreacted to my push on the king side. I am castled over here, so this is a contentious situation. Let's go here and see what he does about this knight. A lot of tension around here. I think I'm going to take this. That knight is too annoying. I got to get rid of it. Maybe a rook f7 type move, just to reinforce a little bit. Might want to play a3 sometime soon as well. Long term, I want to pressure this pawn structure. Again, kind of odd because I am castled over there, but I've committed to a great number of pawn pushes on that wing, so I got to see those through if possible. I'm even thinking like a knight maneuver. Let's throw a3 in first. I just feel like this is annoying, and he's probably going to go b3. Let's go for this knight maneuver. Send it to g5. I still think black's... Well, I think white, rather, is better here, but the time is a huge factor. Takes, I can take here, so no worries. All right. Bishop f8, maybe? That seems like what a King's Indian player would do. Lots of tension. Let's bring the queen out. White still can't take because of this. What do I do next? Maybe I go for the entire pie here. What do you guys think? We don't want just a slice of pie. We want the whole thing. H3. Undermining. Intense undermining operation going on. Do not try this at home. I am a semi-trained professional. Understand your pawn play before you execute something like this. Ooh, and that is a big-time fork for our pie, the entire pie. Actually, you don't really need a fork if you're going to eat the entire pie. You could just eat it like a slice of pizza. I probably should have taken the rook. That, I think, was inaccurate. Unless I was going to go to h1 or something. Yeah, thank you, Shammies, for the game. Very interesting game, complicated. That would have been really neat to see what would happen with more time, like in a long time control game, somewhere right around here. I feel like you're fine at this point, but hard to come up with, yeah, you're more than fine. You're much better, according to the engine. But very complicated position. In this type of opening, the King's Indian is notorious for this, but the engines tend not to like the side that's giving up a bunch of space. So like black in a King's Indian. Even older engines gave similar evaluations, but in human play, hey, anything can happen. The engine approves of this h4 idea. Yeah, this is nice. This is attractive. Just waging all-out warfare against this structure, trying to get white to take somehow. And if there's one crack in the structure, the entire structure may fall down. Very complicated, though. Yeah, thanks again for the game. Thank you, Tony Young on YouTube, by the way. Appreciate that, Tony. Ephesios. Let's do this. By the way, I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts. It's not a Lichess related shirt, but I think it's good as a metaphor for your chess improvement. We'll get there when we get there. Keep that in mind as you're improving in this game. Chess improvement is a long journey. You'll get there when you get there. If you keep putting in the work, you will rise in rating. Chess is a very fair game on the long time horizon in that respect. So don't worry about your rating fluctuations in the short term. Did I buy that from a train station? Not that I remember, no. Okay, interesting. Let's go a3. I'm going to try to get black to take so I can get the two bishops. When do I stream Lichess plays? I usually do it at this time on Sundays. depending upon No Joke Chess's availability and the Lichess schedule in general. It's usually Sundays at 1:30 p.m. U.S. Central Time. Should I keep this pin? Yeah, let's keep the pin. Let's see if black plays g5 and chases. Yeah, sure thing, Computer Guru. Thanks again, everyone for tuning in. We have almost 100 viewers on YouTube, over 300 on Twitch. Good to see everyone. Yeah, I could play this, although then g5. I'm thinking I might want to throw in like a queen d2 type move, but I got to watch knight takes e4. So let's just play bishop e2. I'm just going to develop. I perhaps do not have much here, but we'll see. Okay, now I could, if I want, do something like this. It looks a little greedy, though, to be honest. But otherwise, this knight is coming into d4. Knight might be coming into d4 anyways. Yeah, I don't like what I did here. I think this bishop's even misplaced. I think I should have put it on d3. I might have to try to fix that coming up. Is that an Incredibles reference? I haven't seen The Incredibles, so I would not know. Yes, this is a Lichess stream. It's on the Lichess channel, which you are currently chatting in. Let's play king h1. Maybe I'll go for f4 at some point. Could be hard to arrange, though. I constantly have to worry about this g5 idea. Yeah, greetings, Khalid. Thanks again, Tony, by the way. And DD as well. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just going to put the bishop here. I'll have to see where I misplayed this. I think the position is just more or less pretty equal. Maybe white has a small advantage. Is moving pawns bad? Depends on the position, but you know, here it is a little hard to move the pawns in a way. I'm going to rearrange a little bit. That is one thing that white can run into. So on the white side of like an open Sicilian, let's say, if you run out of pawn play, things may not be going that well for you. So I'm going to try to get in f4 next. My plan is to take with the knight and then hit the bishop, if possible. Ooh, black plays that. Okay, I'm happy to capture now because then I get f4 unopposed, and these are weaknesses, right? Double isolated pawns. Big time weaknesses there. Greetings, Jovatov. Thank you for tuning in from the Netherlands. I was there about a year and a half ago, prior to the pandemic. Over a year and a half ago now. Ooh, and I think this move probably is going to run into this. Now, black to move. I think there's only one move that keeps black in the game. Do you guys know what it would be here? I'll go back to that in a second. But what would have been the move? It was not queen takes f6. So what would have been the move to try to keep black in the game? Might still have been bad, but it had to be tried. Thank you, Francophone, tuning in from France. Thank you. Yeah, very good, Bruno. That is correct. Queen d7 had to be played there. I'll show that. Queen d7 to try to buy time for the piece on f6 to be recaptured. But even then, I think the bishop was probably going to be in trouble. So bishop g4 was a mistake. And thanks for the game, Ephesios. Yeah, I think you were doing all right. This is a variation. Gets played every once in a while. So like a Sveshnikov, but with bishop b4. Greetings, Pula. Yeah. I can refute what Makar might be saying. I can see that message. Hello, Pula. Yeah, so I played a3 and got the bishop pair. But like I said, I think black was doing fine. The engine's straight up giving me a couple of question marks here. Bishop g5 it doesn't like. It says that bishop's better off on e3. It's interesting that bishop g5 gets a full question mark here. It is the second best move, according to Stockfish. But bishop e3 is just that much better. So that's why we get the question mark, evidently. Yeah, let me just show that position real briefly at the end. So got to be careful about this type of move, bishop g4, where black is attacking my queen. However, the piece that they're relying on to defend that attacker, if you will, is shaky and pinned. So like one iteration that may sometimes be good here is taking that attacking piece, but that would just result in a trade, right? This would be equal material when black recaptures. But if we remove that defender first, we can get a 2-for-1 if black follows through and takes the queen. So take here, white takes here, and white has one extra bishop. And even though it's black to move, black can't simultaneously save their bishop and capture this one. They need 2 moves to do that, and they're not going to do it. So white's going to go up a piece here. So, yeah, interesting. The engine doesn't even say queen d7, but queen d7 in the short term would be the way to try to defend the piece. But after, say, queen e1 takes, yeah, I was thinking about this f5 move to slam the door, and the bishop is looking pretty much trapped. h3, queen h4, g4 if necessary, stuff like that. So thanks for the game. Okay, let's play Silverback HQ. Good luck. A Lichess supporter. They've got the wings. Thank you for supporting Lichess. Let's play c5 here. Play Sicilian. Yeah, absolutely, Matty Showbiz. Definitely recommend the Lichess 45 plus 45 league if you have experience with Rapid. For sure. For many of you, it would probably be longer than you've ever played before, time control wise. So I do think that's good. You'll probably play the highest quality games you've ever played as a result. Okay, let's play knight g4. I like this move here. This gets complicated. I think the complications do favor black, in my personal experience. Let's take. And if white moves this bishop, I might just pop this queen out to b6. So let's say bishop g5, queen b6. So white does not move it. Let's go g6. Let's maybe prepare to fianchetto. Yeah, you could also play the 30 plus 30 league if you want. That's correct. Silverback not going for the McShane Naka draw with bishop c1, knight f6, bishop e3, knight g4. Was that in the classical or was that in the Najdorf? Because there's a similar variation in the Najdorf that more often sees that. But I believe bishop e3 in the classical is not considered the greatest move order because of this move. It's a little more consequential for white compared to the Najdorf because black's knight's already on c6. So there's more pressure on the knight on d4. All right, let's play rook b8. Let's crank this up. I got this really nice dark square pressure. Am I threatening anything in the moment? I don't think so yet. So Silverback does not have to panic. Silverback. That's an intimidating name. Those Silverback gorillas. Ooh, king b1, though, walked straight into this move. So, walked into a pin. Yeah, and now it's going to collapse. So this alignment issue did white in here. It wasn't looking too good, though. White would have had to be extremely careful in the middle game because of that dark square bishop that was uncontested. Now let's just play this one and maybe get ready to take. Give a check. I'm just going to castle. This pawn's hanging, but let's leave the queen on the back rank for a moment. I could have probably played there, too. Rook f3 or something. Let's see how white responds to this move. John, do you prefer e3 or e4 against the QGA? I played both. I've more often played e3 or even knight f3 with e3 coming. So, yeah, somewhat prefer that. White's going to pawn storm me. He's trying. Might as well, right? Might as well attempt it. This would be a pretty safe move. I wonder if I can keep my bishop somehow. Could also go for something like this and then check here maybe. I think I'll do that. I'm not too fearful of this. I think it'll be fine. Throwing a check. Numeroid says e3 leaves the chance for black to blunder queen f3. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It is remarkable if you're a d4 player how often you will get that trap. If you go for the Queen's Gambit accepted, you will be shocked. Okay, rook h8 I can take here. And that trap being d4, d5, c4, d takes c4, e3, b5 to defend the pawn, and then a4 to undermine. c6, black tries to continue defending the structure. A takes b5, c takes b5, and then the move queen f3. And black has to lose a piece. The rook in the corner is attacked. Black can play knight c6 at that point to try to defend, but it is not looking good at that point. Let's check. If king a5, this is mate. So white goes back, and I think I can force white to play b4. So always got to double check you're not stalemating, but b4, and now this is checkmate. Thank you for the game, Silverback. Yeah, so the move order got you in a little bit of hot water early on. Again, knight g4. I think if white plays this way, they got to play bishop b5. We can take a quick peek at the database. Good thing to check in on here. So, yeah. You can see the stats, though. The stats are not great for white. You don't want to see, over a large sample size, black scoring more than white if you're looking for a good line for white. Although on bishop g5, it's not as bad, but yeah, it's still a pretty nice line for black. So a lot of times they play, if they want to put the bishop on e3, they'll play f3 first. I've definitely faced this far more often in the classical and like over-the-board play against title players. Because then you cover the g4 square first and get ready to play bishop e3. But honestly, I think bishop g5 is the way to go against the classical Sicilian. This is the reason, this bishop g5 move, this is the reason at the highest level they don't play the classical Sicilian as often. I think the consensus belief is that white is somewhat better here. This got played a lot in the 90s, though. I like playing the classical a lot. Okay, thanks again for the game, Silverback. Malumbo Mambo. Let's go. Good luck. E6, flexible move. Let's be flexible as well. We'll play G3. Oh, I'm sure K Buckby is in the mix. Steakhead. Yeah. Yeah, Shanklin does have a classical Sicilian course. He's pretty knowledgeable about that for sure. Let's play D3. We'll try to arrange E4 in the near future. So this ends up looking like a French defense. I might just play E5 coming up. We'll see where this knight goes. Kind of depends how black plays. Yeah, let's play E5. Let's grab the space. Maybe knight E4 and C4 to come. Have I lost any games in all of my Lichess plays? I've only lost one game in the couple of months I've been doing this. Maybe 3 months or so. 2 to 3 months. So yeah, just a solitary game. There's been some close calls, though, beyond that. Computer Smoke says, I will be the second. Nice. I like the confidence. Let's play queen e2 to defend this pawn. I like my attacking chances here. So watch the move knight f6. I might try to drop that in the position at some point. It's not quite ready yet, but it's brewing. Yeah, because if pawn takes, I would open up an attack on the queen and the bishop. Only issue is bishop d6. Now, if I could efficiently get my queen over to g4 in that line, I would go for it. I don't know that it's going to work, though. I'm very tempted to do it. Partially for the entertainment factor. Could play this first, but I think if black plays their bishop back, this is going to lose some of its effectiveness. Yeah, you know what? Let's just try it, though. Rook d1. I just don't want a wholesale trade of rooks down the d file. I don't want to swap everything. Take. Could take here, but I'm so tempted. I just want to play this. I'm going to do it, even though taking on d4 is probably the more sound decision. Let's go for this. Okay, black takes with the bishop. So now they can take c4, but queen g4 looks awfully dangerous for black. We start to get the vibe that there might be a mate on g7 or maybe h7 in the future. We'll see how this plays out. We'll see how this Lichess plays out. Yeah, we're accepting challenges randomly, Computer Guru. You just send a challenge, and I have an accept random challenge button. But it's got to be 3+0. Yeah, black had to defend against the mate. So now I'm thinking of getting closer. Let's do it. I think black must play king h8 here. And so with this type of situation, there's a mating pattern where if I can get a rook over to h4, I'm going to win. So I think to start, let's just play this. Now, how can I achieve this? I mean, maybe just rook e1 looks pretty sensible. I could also play this move. Like this is kind of interesting. I think I'm actually going to do this to threaten a rook takes d4, and then if the pawn pushes... Okay. Yeah, we're going to see a queen sacrifice here. Yeah, incoming. Unless black resigns or gives up the queen or something. Incoming mate pattern. I think black sees it. I mean, I could also just play rook h4 after this if black moves the queen, but you guys are going to want to see the queen sack. Come on, Malombo. Let's be a good sport. Let's allow the queen sack. If your opponent sets up a good mating net and it's unstoppable, you got to allow it. It's morally forced. Yeah, it is more forcing. Yeah. Yeah, queen e2. Queen e2 is a good defense. At least that would avoid the immediate checkmate. Because, yes, take, check, queen h5. Black would be able to block with the queen. They took. That spoils it. I can try to get the other rook involved, though. I can definitely try to do that. I would really like to get like a queen g7 move to work, but I just don't see how that's going to work. John, do you think Dudo will be the future champion, considering he's kind of a Magnus Kryptonite? I don't know if he's Magnus Kryptonite. Hard to say based on one match. Okay, let's trade. Keep the bishop. Get ready for rook e4. We're trying to set it up again. I'm still attempting it. There's one defense for black, I think. Well, one decent defense. Should be g... Oh, they won't allow the queen sack, but they will allow queen takes g7 mate. Okay. Thanks for the game, Malombo. That was looking kind of cramped for black in the middle game. So I was able to land this knight on f6, but yeah, this minor piece arrangement, not looking too hot for black. I think the move bishop d7 is not great. You want to play this like knight c6, yeah, castles. Sometimes there's queenside expansion that happens after you castle. That's usually the way to go. Okay, wow. Lots of challenges. This is impressive. 120 challenges. Gin and juice. Let's do it. Good luck. Let's play... What should I play this time? Let's play knight c6. Nimzovich is opening. Knight c6 on move 1. Okay, that's a good reply. Especially because e5 transposes to e4, e5 territory. I guess I'll try to bring it into offbeat Scandinavian territory. So takes, operating with the knight here. This is, I think, a little sketchy for black. But there are some players who like this. But yeah, the queen can be a little offsides in the current location on a5 when you've already played knight c6 and you have not played pawn c6. But we'll see what happens. Do I accept odd challenges? I do not. No, not doing odds games at the moment. Although they are fun. Okay, now there's some pressure converging here. I can, at some point, maybe take and look to ramp up the pressure. Let's play e5. Let's be aggressive. Plukrow says, I think this line is okay if white doesn't find the bishop b5 idea. Yeah, so he's referring to white playing like around here. Bishop from f1 to b5. That is one of the strongest ways to play against this line, yes. Ooh, white just castles. Feel like white should be losing at minimum a pawn here, maybe more. So if I take, white can take on c6. Okay. But maybe I recapture. Then I claim that I'm still going for a fork. Let's calculate for a second. Bishop takes c6. Or sorry. E takes d4. Bishop takes c6. B takes c6. Bishop takes d4. Pawn c5. A little worried about queen f3 at that point, though. I don't know that I like that. I can probably just take. I'm gonna go for it. Only minimal calculation, but I think I'm going to win a piece out of this. Although I might have to accept the damaged king. Now on bishop takes c6, I'm not going to take one of these right away. You might be thinking, well, John, why don't you capture one of those with tempo on the queen? And it's because white has the move bishop takes b7 at that stage to try to, in fact, force my king away from the rook. So my plan is actually to do this and then play c5. Okay, b4 I was not expecting. I don't know that that helps white very much. So let's just take. Numeroid says, minimal calculation is how I always play chess. I'm sure there are many who can relate to that in the chat. And when you're playing Blitz, to be fair, you do have to operate on minimal calculation sometimes. I would say efficient calculation, mainly. Thank you, Rembrandt. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take this way. Let's gain the tempo. This time it's safe to play. Okay, so this is the idea from earlier, but white's a move behind, right? I can just take the queen. Yeah, that's fair, banana chess. Everyone's level of calculation is going to differ for sure. I've established the rare triple isolated pawns. Let's just develop. Now, typical blunder here would be rook e7. Invading on the 7th rank, but maybe forgetting about the bishop. White did not do that. White attacked my queen. We're going after this pawn. If I was really confident in my reading ability, I would have, to read the chessboard, that is, not like reading a book. I would have pre-moved bishop on b4 takes e7, but white would have proven me wrong. They saw that. Let's go knight d5. I've heard that term before, Irish pawn center, or Irish pawn chain. Yeah. Okay. Probably just take this pawn here. Thank you, Arvar. Yeah, best way to get in touch with me is to go to my YouTube channel, and then under the About section, there's a link that you can send me business inquiries. So yeah, feel free to drop me a line sometime. Burger King triple stacker. I like that. Okay, Gin and Juice, thanks for the game. So some difficulties on the d4 square. I think things are heating up around here. Probably knight takes e5 should be played. Let's just take a look at this, though. Yeah, there's one game in the database from this position, and white did play knight takes e5 and ended up winning. The engine says it's about equal. That would be a funny line that the engine is showing. Another bishop a3 sighting. But complicated stuff, yeah. I would recommend trying to put the bishop on b5 against this, personally. Again, we can look at the database real quick. You can see white scores really well bringing the bishop to b5 and pinning that knight. So thanks again for the game. Let's keep motoring here. Dr. Drunkenstein, 112. Taking inspiration from a certain Norwegian grandmaster, Dr. Drunkenstein. What should I play this time? Let's play Owen's Defense. Shout out to John Owen, a player from the 1800s. The originator of Owen's Defense. Also, the first player in recorded chess history to execute the so-called Lasker double bishop sacrifice. John Owen preceded Lasker. You can look this game up. Forgot who Owen was playing, but he was playing black. He did the double bishop sacrifice. This was in like the early 1880s or late 1870s. But unfortunately for Owen, he achieved a winning position with it, but then he blew the game and he lost. And Lasker played a game against Bauer in Amsterdam in like 1889, in which he executed the double bishop sacrifice and won. And as they say, history is written by the victors. So the term got associated with Lasker instead of poor John Owen. But he still got Owen's Defense named after him, so that's legit. Is Owen's Defense dubious? Yeah, many would consider it dubious because you are fianchettoing really early as black, always more risky compared to white. And you're fianchettoing on the queen side too, so you're not contributing to your king side development. It's playable. I mean, certainly it's playable. Virtually everything is, especially at faster time controls. But yeah, you won't see top level players playing this in serious games. What openings do I suggest for a 1500 player? That is a broad question. Hard to give advice. I'd have to see some of your games. Definitely a question for a coach and someone who can take a look at your individual style and games. So this is what I was trying to set up with bishop d6. I'm going to take, and then if white takes back, I can win the rook. Or I could maybe have taken and gone for like a bishop a6 move, which I might do now. Because this is looking... Speaking of double bishops, this is mate, as is queen f4, but we're going to use the bishop if we get a chance. Oh, no, queen f4 is not mate, because queen f4, there would be king d4, so bishop f2, I think, is the only mate in one here. That's a cool mate. That's weird. I semi-called that in a way with the double bishops, but it wasn't a sacrifice, so I don't know if we can really count it. Yeah, that is a nice mate. It's a very efficient one, right? All squares covered in the mating sequence with maximum efficiency. Yeah, thanks for the game, Dr. Drunkenstein. I did kind of sack the bishop. Okay. Yeah, so f3, I think, gets white in trouble. I think Dr. Drunkenside played that to try to block the bishop. That can be a valid strategy, but if you're going to do that, it's better to do it, for example, I often play it from the black side. If my opponent goes g3 early on, I'll play d5 so that when they fianchetto, I can play c6, and I blunt the bishop this way. That's better than doing it like Dr. Drunkenstein did, where they're pushing the f pawn, the so-called forget about it pawn. which weakens the king inherently. So I wouldn't recommend it against this. You should just be taking the center against this. So d4, bishop b7, bishop d3. Definitely occupy the center if your opponent's spending that many tempi on flank pawn moves. Royal Fork says, I think John just invented a new mate. Bartholomew's mate. If only. If only. Yeah, that was a cool checkmate, though. Thanks for the game, Dr. Drunkenstein. Cutlass is next. Another Lichess patron. Great to see. Let's play another B-pawn fianchetto, huh? Now, there is a certain number of players who've adhered to the 1b3 philosophy, and they call themselves the Cowboy Gang. The Cowboy Repertoire. I think it was started by Indian Grandmaster Adiban Bhaskaran, who just celebrated a birthday the other day. So happy birthday to him. But he wrote a course on Chessable about 1b3. So there are a number of players now who are part of this b3 gang, as they call themselves. Now, I gave up the fianchettoed bishop for the knight here to double the pawns up. And then I'm arranging some pawns on dark squares to try to block black's bishop, right? That's the strat. Let's play the knight in. Black has to be careful. I'd put the queen back on d8 if I were black before this gets out of control. Black does do that. Let's go here. I think I'm just going to try to play in the center a little bit now. Maybe they'll bring the knight here to try to oppose me. But I have stuff like knight f4 I can play. Get another knight defender in the mix. Thank you, ZH3, for subbing to the Lichess channel with Prime. Okay, I'm going to go win this pawn next. We'll just go after that. We'll keep the knight. Not in a hurry to play knight takes e6. I definitely like my knight. Maybe, I guess I could take that. Queen b6. Let's play bishop d5. This appeals to me a little bit more. If I can land this knight on d5 when black has no way to trade it off or oppose it, that'll be great. Do I think 1b3 is dubious? I don't think it's a great try for an advantage for white, but I don't think it's that bad because white can get away with most anything reasonable on move 1. I have played 1b3 myself in a tournament game or two before, but I kind of quickly abandoned it. But I would be, that being said, I would be interested in what Adiban has to say about it. I have not checked out his course. Okay, let's take this one. If he takes here, I was going to play bishop takes f5. So I'm trying to keep my knight and use it for attacking purposes. What is the worst first move for white? I think g4 or f3 is allegedly the worst first move. One of the two. According to the engine, that is. So sorry to the Grob players. I mean, pretty much nobody plays 1f3, so. Rook takes e6. Don't think is going to cut it here. D5 could be met by e5. Maybe f4. H4 is another idea. Not quite sure what to do here. I might just try to double, quite honestly. Let's try to double the rooks up. But again, got to be a little careful about my knight. Like queen f7 I can meet with this move. But in the short term, let's just look to double. Resigns is also pretty bad. Yeah, that's true. Can confirm. All right, I'll have to do a little rescue operation, perhaps. This might actually get me in some trouble. I think black could have taken and played queen here and tried to win this pawn. So that would have been a concern. But black played f4, and now I'm in full control again. Let's double up. Maybe taking was better. Ooh. I don't feel like black should be able to survive this. But then again, I don't see an immediate refutation. But it just feels so risky. I'm going to play... Yeah, I'll just bring my king up. If f3, I guess we can take. I'm just getting my king off the back rank in anticipation of at some point attacking with my queen and my knight. But there is no immediate checkmate or win of material that I see. Black's probably going to play rook e8. No, bishop e5. Okay, blocking. Blocking. That makes sense, in fact. I always got to watch f3, so I might need to play pawn f3 myself. It is possible that this knight is just bad over here. I'm going to play f3 before I blunder and lose. Ooh, but now black has abandoned their king. Oh. Oh, I almost pre-moved it. What I was saying earlier, I almost pre-moved it, but I was like, John, don't take a dumb risk like that. I just had this feeling he was going to go rook b1, though. I was hovering. Yeah, good game, Cutlass. You defended that pretty well. I actually think you were probably doing fine towards the end. Maybe a slight advantage for white, but yeah, looks like I misplayed it right around here. I should take. This is a little lazy on my part. Rook doubling, and you just try to call my bluff. So, yeah, good defense under pressure. And with low time, that maybe could have gone the other way. Thanks for the game. All right. Alex, good luck. 3+0. Here we go. I got to try that pre-move situation in some upcoming game. I keep talking about it. I can't talk about it. I got to be about it. I got to do some, like... What is that famous soccer incident? Is it Maradona, like the hand of God? I got to do that, but with a Lichess pre-move. I don't know if that's even the best analogy, but, you know, just let fate take over, basically. We'll see if I get an opportunity. Another one of these bishop e3, knight g4 operations. That was Maradona? Okay, good. I definitely don't need a lot of soccer fans in the chat berating me for my lack of soccer knowledge, football knowledge. All right, we're going to do the same thing we did in that other game against Silverback. Ooh, and again, white's playing risky here. Let's see if white learns from Silverback's mistake. This position's already, I think, just busted for white, though, unfortunately for them. But I am setting up the threat. Bishop takes c3. But what's brutal here, if white plays king a1, I can play rook takes b2. And then king takes b2, queen check, followed by bishop takes c3, and that's going to be GG. It's a mating net, or white has to give up the queen. Panenka penalty would be a good analogy for this. What happened with that? Tell me about that. Hello, Tony Kretz, by the way, on YouTube. This is greetings from Switzerland. This is really like the live stream. I am a beginner, but I feel I can learn a lot. Thank you. Oh, thank you for that very kind message, Tony. Yeah, welcome to the chess world. We're happy to have you here. And yeah, take advantage of all the resources online. Platforms like Lichess. Check out my Chess Fundamentals series if you haven't already. Climbing the rating ladder as well. Okay, so I could do this still. I'm thinking about some fancy stuff as well, like queen takes a2 and doing this, but I think that's a little overboard. So let's just play this one. This is instructive, especially if you guys play like the dragon or openings involving a fianchettoed bishop. You will often have pressure and tactics of this type. So I'm not just flexing. Okay, knight goes back, and I think this is going to lead to mate. Could also play queen takes a2. That looks pretty brutal, but I think this is force mate. Take, check, and I'm coming into b2 soon. All white can really do is give up a couple pieces here, so let's go for the forcing operation. It's a soft, cheeky shot in the center of the goal instead of a usual one to one of the sides. That's a Panenka penalty. The goalkeeper ends up pre-diving out of the way. Panenka is chipping the ball when taking a penalty, humiliating the goalkeeper. Ah. I saw something in the Olympics like that, I think. It might have been one of the women's games. I'm not sure. But where the person, or not the penalty, it was a corner kick, actually. Corner kick going for a goal. So maybe it was different. I will check that out, though. Panenka. Thank you, guys. All right. Thanks, Alex, for the game. Yeah, again, bishop e3 runs into knight g4. So earlier I was recommending if you do want to put the bishop on e3 to play f3 in this scenario. Because there's complications here, and white really has to know what they're doing to keep the balance. Okay, thanks again. And who's up next? We're about halfway into our session today. Some really fun games lately. Hero Merlin, good luck. Yeah, I could see how penalties are similar to pre-moving, because there is a lot of guessing that goes on in those soccer penalties. Same thing in hockey to an extent. But you definitely see it in soccer. Yeah, thank you, Parito. My pleasure. Thank you for tuning in. We definitely appreciate the support. Okay, let's take with the knight. Try for d5 at some point. Is this a Scheveningen variation? It is not. So the Scheveningen or Scheveningen, depending upon how westernized you're pronouncing it, or I don't know, maybe English speaking you're trying to pronounce it, because it's a Dutch town is what that's named after, and very few non-Dutch speakers can pronounce it correctly. Probably people fluent in other languages struggle with it too, and that is a line against the open Sicilian, to be clear. So when white's playing knight f3 on move 2 followed by d4. Putting the pawns on e6 and d6 is just a broad Sicilian strategy. But I could see why you thought there were some similarities there. But when black's pawn is still on c5, white is not committed to d4. No, it's not going to be that variation exactly. By hockey, do we mean hockey or ice hockey? Yeah, I was talking about ice hockey. But again, this is one thing I love about the chess community is we are an international bunch here. It's a beautiful thing. That's why I always try to check my ignorance of certain things, especially like sports I don't follow. Low disc space says, talking of football, am I the only one who thinks John is a dead ringer for LA Rams coach Sean McVay? I know who Sean McVay is. Let me Google him to see if I look like him. I could kind of see the similarity, but I think it's mostly the facial hair. We're almost the same age, though. He's a little bit older than me. All right, let's play d4. Oh, thank you for that offer. I might have to do a video on chess opening pronunciation sometime and consult experts on it. Hello, A. Becker. You want me to grow the beard out? Keeping it pretty short at the moment. Okay, let's take. We're using the pin here. Knight can't take because the queen hangs. Oh, never mind. The knight can take, but it would not be advised. Yeah, so Hero Merlin, I think they were starting to feel the time pressure a little bit, under a minute. And I think you're very much in the game still up to the end, Hero Merlin. Maybe G4, or even moving the queen. You could perhaps move the queen if you want to escape the pin. Like, let's say you play in this position Queen C1. Then I can take, but you're going to be okay in the end. You have enough defenders here, and you don't have to fracture your pawn structure if I continue taking. So maybe something like that. But yeah, thank you for the game. Marco Vian. Let's do this. Yes, yet another Lichess supporter. Awesome to see. Yeah, again, we aren't giving priority to anyone, but it's just great that there's so many supporters of Lichess and have the wings next to their name. I think you can support the site for as little as $1 a month. So $1 USD per month, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Thank you, Marco Vian. We're playing Caro-Kann. Let's take... Maybe I'll play a knight f6 variation, huh? On take, you can take back either way. I'll take with the g-pawn. This is an interesting line. Oh, I see what you mean, A. Becker. Got it. Now, against knight g3 backing off, I think h5 is, in fact, a decent idea here. Trying to chase this knight. Trying to get white to commit to h4. Skewerly says, I support. There's nothing like Lichess anywhere. That's right. Yeah, it's a great service to the chess community. It really is. Ooh, guys, this could get real interesting. I am so very tempted to play this. We got to do it. I mean, this is forced. Because we might have a funny situation, depending upon where Marco puts the bishop, where they may not be able to stop my pawn from promoting. We'll see. We'll see what they do. Hello, Groovy. Yeah, they decided to get rid of that pawn. I think bishop e5 was the best move there to try to defend h2, but I could take on f2. Wasn't looking great for white. Bartholomew. I wonder if there's a Bartholomew account on Lichess. We might have to check. I wonder if there's a John Bartholomew account on Lichess. I have not checked. Okay, we'll block the check here, and then probably castle short. Bartholomew sounds like a Star Wars name. It kind of does, doesn't it? Like I would be, yeah, an alien in Star Wars. Am I going to decline challenges from players against whom we've already played? That's a good question. I have not been doing that. So I have allowed repeat challenges. And some people, it's happened on occasion where someone will get in multiple games just by the luck of the algorithm. I agree it would probably be better if that weren't the case. Bar jinx. We'll take this pawn. So there is a John Bartholomew and there's a John Bartholomew. Nice. Someone's going to register John Bartholomew now, aren't they? I bet if I check it before the end of the stream, it'll be registered. Go here, threaten this as well. It is registered. It's too funny. Threaten here. Okay, we'll just develop now. Knight b4 is a threat. Hitting the queen, hitting the pawn. Oh, that's awesome, Rembrandt. I can still play this. We don't mind this bishop hanging because this is mate in 2. Nice, Igloo. Thank you for the game. Oh, we copied each other. Jinx. Yeah. So in this variation, you want to play, Marco, the move knight takes f6 for sure. You should definitely not spend a move retreating your knight when you can take and double up my pawns. Maybe you were worried about some sort of preparation or something I had in mind here. So knight g3 is a little too time consuming. Best to capture and get on with your development. In the situation I was referring to, by the way, so right here, like let's say Marco, bishop e5 appears to be the best move, but let's say Marco plays this. Then I can play rook takes h2. And if white takes the rook, it's this unique situation, right, where white can't stop the pawn from promoting. Because I'm threatening the knight and the promotion. So knights are really poor like that when they get attacked. And there's also a promotion threat immediately up 1 square. So even a move like queen h5, which would defend against h1 queen, is going to run into this. But yeah, this position appears to be pretty much losing for white anyways. Ah, that's a cool variation. Look at this. Yeah, something like this was flashing through my head, although admittedly I didn't see this. I got to show this for a minute. If bishop e5, this is pretty sick. So if bishop e5, that defends this for the moment, right? Because if there's this happening, it appears to be just fine for white. But the engine points out a brilliant sequence. Rook takes h2, rook takes h2, queen e5 check, queen a5 check, c3, and now what, guys? Black to move. What would I play in this hypothetical position? This should be an easy one if you followed that last discussion. Very good. Very good. There's a bit of a delay on the stream, but many of you are coming in with the correct answer. Queen takes e5. That is dirty. Yeah, look at that. Give the queen, but again, it's this scenario where this pawn is going to promote. It will become a queen no matter what. And I've won material in the process, too. I've won a minor piece when the dust settles. Like, white can move this knight. Fortunately, even though white has the move here and an extra queen, white can't create a big enough threat that it's going to bother black. So, yeah, that is a cool sequence. Just had to show that. So even on bishop e5, rook takes h2, and you got to do it in this specific way where you give up the queen for the bishop, coming with check. That gets the job done. I think even queen d2. Queen d2 might be a little bit different, actually. Queen d2, take. As the queen is out, maybe white can castle, although knight d7 or something. Yeah, evidently this is not good. Because castles and there's a mate threat. So on queen d2, probably best to just trade queens. And then take? No, g takes f2, the engine points out. Ah, a little deflection. And in that way, there's still a possibility of getting another queen. White can't take here because the queen hangs. Okay, we could go down the rabbit hole of tactics, but feel free to explore that. This is in the game against Marco Vian. All right, let's go to another challenge here. Good luck, Vishy. Yet another Lichess patron. Great to see. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you guys so much. That would be a good calculation exercise for someone. Maybe give them the position after bishop takes f6. And then, or sorry, after, what did I play? H takes g3. So it's white to move. And say, first of all, what are white's options here? And they'll probably come up with bishop e5 being seemingly the best chance. And then how should the game go? after bishop e5. Shooting your shot, Vishy. I like it. At least he has the confidence to be wrong in public. But he's shooting his shot. Starbucks has burnt swill. To be fair, that is a common criticism of Starbucks coffee. Some people call it Charbucks for that reason. That is over-roasted beans. Yeah. There may be some truth to that they sacrifice flavor for consistency. Hopefully he allows me to keep my Scandinavian defense. I'm playing an aggressive, risky variation here. But he tilted me a little bit with that comment. I'm not going to lie. I actually have not been drinking much Starbucks coffee because there's coffee in my building now. It's awesome. Oh, A. Becker, that's too funny. Wait, which game was that? Or what tournament was that, A. Becker? Maybe you told me before, but I can't remember. Mateus on YouTube asked, is the Pirt's defense a strong opening? You know, the Pirt's is perfectly fine, Mateus. If you want to play it, go right ahead. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting opening. I do play it myself on occasion. I sometimes even play d4, d6. And it is a little system-y, and you have to be okay with giving up the center. So if you're more on the beginning end of the spectrum, I wouldn't recommend the Pirt's. But long story short, it is playable for sure. Let's go here and attack the rook. We played at Twin Ports, A. Becker. Okay, got it. Yeah, that's sad that tournament has not ran for the past 2 years. That's one of the last over-the-board events that I played, and there's some videos of it on my channel. It was from August of 2019. The last over-the-board event I played was 1 month later in September of 2019, I believe. I need to get back to it. Okay, this is interesting. I'm going to play bishop f4. I'm going to try to engage my g-pawn soon, more than likely, but let's see what Vishy does. As a result of his psychological attempts to undermine me, he has a minute less on the clock. So we'll see how he does in time pressure. (2019 BC before COVID). Exactly, yes. Unfortunately. All right, we're charging with the pawn. Okay, knight e5 I think is a good reply. I do like that reply for them. Knight e4 maybe? That would be aggressive, albeit probably unsound. But looks interesting. Looks very interesting. Take and then take here. I just don't think it quite works. I think I got to take. I got to capture and then play knight here, so this is defended. Still look to pawn storm, but I think white's out of the woods pretty much. But not on the clock. Shut down the pawn storm for now. Yeah, Vishy's just not going to make it on the clock, unfortunately. Thank you for the game and the discussion. Yeah, I would bet you're better in the final position. Much better. +2. This is probably unsound, what I'm doing here. But yeah, thanks for the game. This whole line with bishop g4 this early, this is generally why in the queen a5 variation, you want to stick the bishop on f5 when they put the knight on f3. Sometimes black will play bishop g4 if white has not committed to knight f3. But yeah, this is a little bit different than like if some of you know the queen d8 Scandinavian. Often you do play bishop g4 because there's more pressure here with the queen pointed there. So knocking out the defender has more of a consequence. But queen a5 with bishop g4 I think is not great. So I wouldn't repeat that line that I played. Okay. Elastoni, greetings to you. Good luck. Green Bay Open, September 4th through the 5th. Ah, thank you. Good to know that. That's actually my birthday weekend. I have a couple trips coming up, so I won't be able to make that, but I do appreciate the invite. Hopefully that tournament goes well. Okay, let's play e6. Let's attack this pawn. This is like a queen's gambit accepted, but in reverse. And already I'm pretty happy with my position here because I love playing with the two center pawns against one. I'm just very partial to that structure myself. So I'm happy here. I might even get the bishop pair if Elastoni ends up taking on c6. Takes with the knight, though, so they're going to preserve the bishop pair. I guess let's go ahead and advance and maybe expand. This is probably not so bad for white. Yeah, e4 I think is a good move. Although, maybe I can launch a quick attack. Eric Rosen is absolutely loving my position right now because if white castles, I'm going to land queen h4. And that has a lot of Stafford Gambit undertones. So Elastoni plays bishop e3 instead. We'll take this way. And what now? Maybe just d4? Let's do it. Anchor that knight in. Knight d1 is met by bishop g4, and I probably win further material. Did I miss d4? Ah, yeah, d4 was a fork. Knight a4, take. I could have played queen a5. Yeah, that was even better than what I did. I missed a pawn fork. This is still pretty good, though. But yeah, d4 would have been even better. Now here I can get a similar type of thing, queen a5. Is there anything else worth playing? Probably not. Let's check. Hello, DW Ren. Says, I went to my first chess club this weekend and played a few games. Would you recommend noting the moves for analysis later on? Ooh, and white steps into the pin here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you can record those games, that's awesome. If you play a tournament, they require you to keep a record of the games. So it's good practice for that, for one thing. But definitely, if you have the ability to write the games down, you'll thank yourself later. You can maybe, if it's casual, maybe you can take a picture of a key position at some point if your opponent doesn't mind. That's a way people do it sometimes too. Let's just open things up here. Hello, Nirasoa. Take. Can I make this work next? Take, check. King here. There's no mate, though, because he guards g2, but it's close. How should I play this? I'm going to give one check. Idea bishop d3, swing the queen over here. And try to gain access to f3 and g2. Fortunately, this doesn't work because my knight covers this Medusa knight operating in so many directions here. That's why you love knights towards the center of the board. Maximum scope. Hello, Arkansas. Thank you for tuning in. Okay. Check. King here. I guess they're running. Let's play e4. Hi, John. If you had to be one chess piece, which would you choose and why? I think I would choose to be a pawn because I would want to have the option to be any piece and like grow into that role. I would want to have aspirations for my life and my chess life. I think if you started at the top, if you started as a queen or a rook or the king even, it would just be too easy. Life would be on easy mode for you. It's about the story, right? It's about the come up. So I'd want to be a pawn. Yeah, thanks for the game, Milastoni. But yes, instructive, I missed the d4 move. Always watch those pawn forks. Engine will probably agree. Yeah, d4 is -7. I played a move that's -4, so still very good, but this one's working. Even if white counterattacks, there's so many good moves here. Knight takes f2, pawn takes f2, queen a5. Another thematic fork idea. Underdog story, you guys like that? You're saying deep. Nice. Mortality rate is high. Well, life is risky. But think of how successful you're going to feel and how accomplished you're going to feel. The personal satisfaction when you make it to the other side of the board and you promote. Okay. Surge, let's go. Yet another Lichess patron. Love to see it. People are they're gonna be having conspiracy theories in the chat. Like, are you sure you're not giving priority to patrons? No. The mods can confirm this is random. Let's play a con. E6, A6, one of my favorite Sicilian lines to play. Now, this one, if white goes bishop E3, can get white in trouble. So white plays A3, maybe intending to play bishop E3 later. But I think this setup that white is choosing, not the most challenging. I had an OTB game I played in Norway in 2017. Identical position to this. My opponent put the bishop on F3, and I just think this is not great because white doesn't have the F4 leverage. The mods are in on it. Yeah, my opponent did this too. I think white is going to try to develop in the same way my opponent did in that game. Bishop F4, queen D2, rook D1. Plays the bishop to G5. Okay. Yeah, this is a prototypical good position for black in the Sicilian because white has very little pawn play. I have ideas like knight C4 coming in and attacking these. Rook C8. I can play down the C file unopposed. The E5 square is just awesome for the knight. Hard to find a plan here for white. Here, maybe they're trying this, but I think this is going to run into stuff like knight C4. Got to be a little careful. Knight C4, queen here. Knight takes A3 is tempting. Take. There's E5 at the end. I remember calculating similar variations in that game. I'm just going to play rook D8. There's no rush. Reinforce the pawn on D6. So if there's a capture, I can take and this pawn is defended at all times. Azerbaijan in the Lichess chat, the Twitch chat, says, always play your own line. My favorite Sicilian is the Paulson. Yeah, which is another name for the Khan. I think I probably win about 90% of the time with that defense. Nice. Yeah, I concur. It's a great line. Let's play knight C4 now. So this pawn on B2 is often weak. And let's just see what white does about that. How do you choose between playing B6 versus B5 in these lines? Everything else being equal, and if you have the time to do so in the position, B5 is usually what you want to go for. Sometimes white will play A4 and preempt B5. In that case, you can settle for B6, although A4 can be a weakening move too, because it weakens like the B4 square, for instance. But yeah, if possible, in a lot of lines of the Sicilian, and especially in the Khan, this setup I have right here, this is your blueprint. This minor piece arrangement with the queen on C7, and also where the squares the pawns occupy. E6, D6, B5, A6. You see that in the Najdorf, the Scheveningen. Why Khan and not Taimanov? Also a good line. I just like the Khan. The Khan is an extremely flexible Sicilian. I am partial to it. Now, normally I would play this move. I'm just not quite so sure about an eventual e5. So I'm just going to continue playing good moves. White seems a little uncomfortable. I'm ahead on the clock, so let's just play useful stuff. Hi, Ricardo. Yeah, good to see you as well. I'm going to do exactly what I did in that game I was referencing. I'm going to send this knight to e5. Gen Z with the 1,000 bits to the Lichess Twitch channel, supporting Lichess. Thank you very much. Gen Z's a viewer of my channel too, so shout out to them. It says, do you recommend the Nightorf for 1400 USCF, or is Classical Sicilian or Scheveningen a better choice? You know, Gen Z, at your level, all these variations are roughly equivalent in strength. And even at my level, like there's very little difference in those. It's mostly a matter of preference. I would say check out some games in those lines if those are the ones that you're kind of keying in on. See what appeals to you. See how the top players handle it and maybe what you like about them. I would also add, I've mentioned before, I think the dragon lines, especially the accelerated dragon and the hyper accelerated dragon even, which is e4, c5, knight f3, g6, those are great variations for black. Excellent for your rating level too. You'll get great positions out of those. So we're kind of splitting hairs with like the sub variations. I know that's maybe not the answer you want to hear, but whatever appeals to you, go with that. So this knight's coming back to e5. Great squares here. White did play the f-pawn forward, but this is still looking really good. I think here I can probably take b2. There's a wisp of an attack for white, but, you know, I'll just be safe. I'll play f6, throw this move in first. And then maybe take here. This is hanging. I probably shouldn't have done it that way. A little sloppy on my part, but this is still going to work out well. Take. And let's take here. Let's take here. It's a time scramble. I'm up 2 pawns, though. And most importantly, up on the clock. Okay. Serge, thanks for the game. Yeah. So I think that middle game is just tough when you stick the bishop on f3. I know you want to defend the e4 pawn, but yeah, I would rethink this whole opening strategy. I think it's just a little bit too passive for white. a3. Bishop really belongs on d3 in these setups. I think you played the position reasonably, though. And I would kind of wonder for me where I could have played it better. I think I started to drift a little bit around here as I was talking up my position. Yeah. The engine seems to indicate it's time to take on d2. Maybe held off on that for too long. d5 it wants to play here. Open the center. Yeah, and then the cold-blooded knight takes b2 is good. Not fearing f6. I can always block with the knight to block a mate threat. Knight g6, and the engine says white's going to have to pay the piper. But thanks for the game, Serge. Yeah, maybe just look into a different line. a3 early on, not the greatest. Okay. Yeah, my pleasure, Genzi. Yeah, check out in addition to the ones that you mentioned, the accelerated and the hyper accelerated dragon. I think you'd like those, Genzi. All right, Perico. Tronic. Okay, let's play Ruy Lopez. I haven't played a lot of e4, e5 in Lichess plays today. Let's castle. John, you didn't consider going to the St. Louis tournament? No, not really. As a spectator, I did not. Okay, here I think I can play to win a pawn. That is the threat usually when the rook hits e1, defending the pawn on e4. I can knock out c6 and then take e5. So hence why black usually plays b5 in this position. John, any thoughts on the recent World Cup? Very entertaining event. Congratulations to Jan Krzysztof Duda. Amazing performance from the young Polish player. But I love that format. The World Cup is one of my favorite tournaments. It's really cool to see the knockout. Here too, I could probably have just played e5 once again. I don't know why I was hesitant to do that. I was kind of autopiloting, but should have played e5 right there, even with this pin, because I got the rook backing it up. I think I briefly saw there could be some logistical problems, like e5 take, queen takes, rook e8. Yeah, that might actually save the day for black, because I couldn't take one of the pieces due to the back rank issue. Maybe though. Well, we'll take a brief look after the game. Still very good though. We're just playing up a pawn here. Yeah, my pleasure, A. Becker. Thank you for tuning in today. We still got about 20 minutes left. So thanks again, everyone. We still have our Bong Cloud Horsey game coming up. Yeah, true. I could play G takes. Yeah, it damages the king a little bit, but for the pawn fork, probably worth it. Then maybe like knight h5 with knight f4 and queen g5 coming in. Looks a little scary, but the engine's probably going to refute it. John, why d3 there instead of c3 and d4? Yeah, that was my first instinct move. I didn't like c5, though. Trying to stop d4. Yeah, sure thing, Richter's neighbor. I definitely try to vary my openings in this. It's more interesting that way. And yeah, I think it's cool for you guys, too, if I occasionally play openings that you guys play as well. Yakov on YouTube says, Meraxi bind is annoying against the Khan. That is true. Yeah, and that's the reason the top guys don't play the Khan as much, in my opinion. Because I think they don't necessarily trust those positions with the white pawns on e4, c4, the Meraxi bind. I think the prevailing belief is that white is pressing there. Any tips for visualizing? I usually don't train visualization itself. I do think it's one of those things that just gets better with time. Some people do play blindfold games specifically. Now we're going to play d4, so if takes, we can pin. But I would say just try to get used to, it sounds basic, but try to get used to solving tactical problems in your head and having the moves being played out basically be a formality. Like when you're solving a tactics training problem, you're calculating the entire sequence in your head as much as you reasonably can, visualizing, and then playing the moves out only after you've conducted your calculations, not stopping after every move and reassessing all the time. Okay, Perico, thanks for the game. Black could play rook takes e1 here to avoid further material loss, but black is just down a piece at this point. So yeah, thanks for the game. Arkadye, good luck. Thanks again to everyone for challenging 3+0. That is greatly, greatly appreciated. Let's play a Dutch. What do I do against e4, d5, d4 as black? I'll just take the pawn. Yeah, Blackmar, Daymar Gambit. Occasionally, if I'm feeling cheeky, I'll play c6 and transpose it into a Caro-Kann. That's a pretty good option as well. But nah, taking the pawn is best. If you're a French defense player, you can play e6 against that if you really want to. They're just lulling you into a false sense of security to sneak in that one cheeky 5+2. Yeah, that does happen, doesn't it? Okay, we might be sending the queen to g6. We'll see. I'm already visualizing a mate on g2. Let's see what happens. I'm going to feel bad if this comes to pass. But let's see what Arcadier does. Now, okay. I was going to say, like we're talking about the pre-move situation when it comes to soccer penalties. I was thinking that might have been a potential sequence. I could try to pre-move queen takes g2 mate, but that would be very risky because if it backfires, I would just lose my queen. I wonder if I can set this up, though. Best move is to take this pawn. I could try h6, right? Take. I just don't think white's likely to play knight e5. Let's just take the pawn. We're going to play correct chess. We can't assume our opponent's going to play bad moves. That's never a good strategy in chess. I could try bishop takes f3 to look to remove the defender, but white would be hitting my rook on a8. It's worth noting. Okay, so h4 played. That's an unusual comment. I played e4 almost exclusively up until the time I was probably 22 or 2300. Okay, that seems like another aggressive comment. Okay, let's play. Now I really want to mate white on g2. Now, maybe they're making a joke. I just don't know what they're getting at. D6? I gotta watch my bishop getting a little sideline. Let's actually take here and then play D6. We'll go here, knight bd7 coming up. Oh, that's a Princess Bride reference. Ah, that's a movie reference. Okay. Yeah, that went over my head. I got to admit. The death is on the line, that comment. This looks like pressure. Bishop takes f3 coming in. If the knight moves, I'll try to wiggle in with queen h3. Ooh, and this loses the piece. Oh, interesting. Okay. I forgot about that quote. I'll have to check that quote out again. That's a great movie. Been years since I've seen it, but now this bishop may end up getting trapped too. Knight bd7, e5. Thank you, Curiosity, for tuning in from Pakistan. Thank you very much. Yeah, have a good night. Tuning in at 1:15 in the morning. Very much appreciated. Threatening e5. Take. We'll defend this pawn. We'll be solid. Yakov asked, is the Meraxi bind less effective against the Najdorf? Yeah, so important distinction there. In a lot of lines of the Sicilian, black plays an early knight f6, like in the Najdorf. And that essentially compels white to play their knight to c3 in front of their c-pawn in order to defend their e4 pawn. So that's why certain lines like the Najdorf, the classical, the dragon, you don't see Meraxi bind so much because black is often playing the knight f6 move very early. Thank you for the game. Arkady, appreciate it. Yeah, I think you're doing all right here. I do like the setup for black. I think this is conducive to what black's doing with the bishop pointed at the g2 square. But around here, if you play a little more solid, b4 did lose the pawn. If you play a little more solid, you're probably okay. Yeah, and they said the same thing. b4 definite error. Good game though. All right, we have time for maybe 2 or 3 more games. Let's see how long this one goes. Let's play d4 in this game. Maybe I'll play an aggressive d4 setup. Maybe like a Jobava London. How many Jobava London players do we have in the chat? Knight c3, bishop f4. Very easy for black to get in trouble against this opening early on. Let's see what happens. I have a couple students who love this opening for white. How about the Meraxi bind after bishop b5 check, bishop d7, c4? Yeah, that is a variation. White sometimes tries that. I saw Magnus has been playing bishop b5 check in the Sicilian recently. I think I should have played f3. Let's do this now. I think this move order is not quite as good, but I'll still try to do the main thing that white does. I think you usually want to leave that bishop there, so I'll do this. And then bishop g6, I'm going to chase. I do still stream on Twitch. I do. Yep. Yeah. I have my channel, of course. And been doing these weekly Lichess play streams as well here on the Lichess channel. Yeah, I think that was a slight move order inaccuracy by me. They usually play f3 here and often aggressively expand. But you do get setups like this. Very often there will be a trade of the bishops, and white accepts the doubled pawns and kind of claims that these double pawns are useful, controlling a great deal of territory. My opponent's playing pretty solid, though. So far, so good for black. I could try to blast things open in the middle a little bit, but I think I'm just going to bring my rook over. We'll see if black castles this way. Have I seen Jobava dancing on Twitch? What's up with that? Yeah, so Badur Jobava, the Georgian grandmaster, who's made a lot of contributions to chess theory, including this Jobava variation. He is a very entertaining player and Twitch streamer, and he has some streams of him like dancing where he appears to be doing it for hours, but it took me a while to realize that that's actually on a loop oftentimes. He probably does it just normally on his stream, but he'll go live, and I don't know if he's like getting ready for his stream or what. He'll put on like a loop of him dancing, and he's all sweaty and stuff like that, and he's just like really going to town. And I too thought it was a live thing for quite a while, but I think it's often just a recording. Still pretty funny. All right, let's try to use these pawns at some point. Black's developed, but they're not very aggressively placed. So I'm thinking maybe I can bust this open sometime soon. Maybe g5. This is probably the break I want to go for. Yeah, I think I'll do it. See where that knight jumps to. I might invade on h7. Like, I might just hop that piece in. We'll take with the h-pawn. Maybe I should have taken the other way. I don't know. Tough call. Because now g6 could be played. But that is still kind of awkward for black because g6, if ever they go knight e7, I may take this pawn. So let's just play it. See what happens. And they play a counterattacking move. Let's defend. This pawn is worth holding for sure. Because check, forking the king and the knight was a threat. Oh, thank you very much for that comment. I appreciate that, mister. I love to teach. Yeah, I've been teaching chess pretty much full time for 10 years now. And I love it. I think my role as a teacher may change at some point, but I'd like to think I'll always be a teacher at heart. I really enjoy it. And I've learned a lot from my teachers too. FIDE Master Ed Zelkind, FIDE Master Robbie Adamson. Those are two coaches that helped me out a lot in my formative chess years. I've benefited from Grandmaster instruction at camps that I've gone to in the past. Okay, black kind of self-destructed there. It did look like they were losing the thread a bit. Yeah, down a pawn at this point. Thanks for the game. Still probably okay for black if black plays something like, g6 against queen h7. Maybe a little uncomfortable, but nothing too bad. Actually, black's just better here, according to the engine. g6. Maybe because my queen could be a liability behind enemy lines, but black needs to play some defensive moves, it looks like. We'll just tell Simsec, thanks for the game. Not sure if they'll see that, but yeah, thank you. Okay. Is it time for our... I think let's try to play one more regular game, and then we'll play the Bon Cloud horsey game. King's Crusher, hey, thank you for the raid. Really appreciate that, Triffin. Thank you for raiding the Lichess channel. Okay, St. Jukes. Let's play another Sicilian, shall we? Maybe let's play an Accelerated Dragon. King's Crusher, one of the very first chess streamers, period, I think. King's Crusher has been streaming for over 10 years, I believe. How many of you guys have watched King's Crusher at some point or another, or are still an active viewer? I feel like he's had a very dedicated and wide audience over the years. Let's play one of the most aggressive variations here. A5, looking for A4. Okay, now A3, how do I respond to this? I feel like I should still play A4, but I've got to admit I don't exactly know what I'm doing at this point. I'll just play D6. Maybe knight G4. Let's do it. Pressure. I assume white's going to take here, and then I get to take back. This is a nice recapture. Dead Ion says, I spent my days watching King's Crusher, Amazingoid, and Jerry. Nice. LB Hike says, King's Crusher's analysis of the game of the century was my reintroduction to chess after not having looked at a board since childhood. Ah, very cool. The game of the century, Bobby Fischer. All right, let's play H6. I might go G5 after this. Playing this kind of aggressive, but I think it's warranted because we're going to get some nice pressure against the enemy position. This is somewhat weakening, but I control enough of the dark squares that I feel okay with doing this. Hello, Flora Zhao. Okay, rook B1. Maybe bishop A6 or bishop D4. Bishop A6 I don't want to play because of this. Bishop D4, tempting, but probably not great. This comes to mind for sure. Some continuation like this. I think I might do that. It's aggressive. Let's see how my opponent responds. I'm putting in a food order right now. I'm going to go pick up some Chipotle after this. Yeah, let's play that one. Was rook b8 a bad move? I thought about rook b8 as well, but I kind of liked queen b6 in order to pressure f2. So white retreats. Yeah, now I could play like knight takes f2 and then bishop here, but it's probably not sound. Probably just want to take the dark square bishop. Let's do that. Maybe queen here, pressure this. Maybe bishop a6 would have been better, but this is probably still good as well. I've had a number of games this session with this strong dark square bishop. This time white's not castle queen side, but yeah, we've definitely benefited from this Excellent dark square bishop. Maybe here. I'll try to knock this bishop out. Rick says, my first streamer I watched was Danny Wrench. Loved the bullet brawls and the rivals in later years against Ginger GM and Finns. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Been a while since Danny and I played those brawls, but absolutely, those are good times. Now White's got to be careful. This is going to be losing. White's going to walk right into the pin here, which I think they're seeing now. White was playing pretty solid up to that point, but yes, now it's problems on the dark squares. Did you order a full-on bells and whistles burrito? No, I ordered a chicken bowl. And no fun stuff on it either. No sour cream, no cheese. I know, sacrilegious. Yeah, thanks to the game, St. Jukes. I got to look up the theory in this line. Let's take a peek real quick. This is all theory. Bishop e3 is a good move. It avoids the center fork trick. Knight takes e4. So evidently, black usually plays knight g4 here. Okay. a4 is played, though. Black scores okay. Yeah, this has all been played. There's just some branching points roundabout here. But yeah, this hyper-accelerated dragon, as I was saying earlier, guys, pretty good line to look into. Look up Grandmaster Eugene Perlestein's games. He's an American Grandmaster, friend of mine. He's very good. No, I didn't get guac as well. I forgot to get guac. I do like it, but I don't get it every time. No, I got double fajitas, mild hot corn, and brown rice. No, white rice. I got white rice. All right. Here is our final game. I got to change the set. There we go. Teenage Lightning. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. It's Bon Cloud Horsey time. Best of luck. Let's do this. We sacrificed a pawn. So we played the England Gambit, but with King E7 on move 2. That's gutsy. You know how we do it here. E5, King E7, against virtually anything. Unfortunately, I can't pre-move that. I've mentioned this before. But if you try to pre-move E5, King E7, you might run into a cheeky opponent who plays E4, E5, Queen H5, and then King E7, Queen takes E5. So there is a limit to the madness when you're doing the Bon Cloud as black. Unless you want to go full loss in 3 moves mode. Shout out to Champ for those amazing pieces, says Pook Crow. Is that who came up with this set? I was always wondering who the originator of the Horsey set was. Is that their username, Cham? C-H-A-M? I'm not familiar with this person. Ooh, okay. Getting spicy in the middle of the board. I think that's a good move. I mean, might need to play something like Queen D7. The problem is you can't castle now. That's a big issue here. All right, let's take. We're going to have to capture. And maybe bail with the king, huh? Although that feels pretty risky. Queen D7, maybe. I think I'll go Queen D7 after this move. Although then bishop takes F6. It's not fun. I'll still play it. Sometimes you're not going to have fun. What is your favorite chess game? I don't really have a favorite chess game. I've been asked this question on occasion in the past, and I always have trouble pinpointing it. I said in an interview one time that One of the final games of one of the Kasparov versus Karpov matches was one of my favorite games ever, just because of the circumstances. It was a very sharp Sicilian where Karpov had to win as white. He pretty much threw everything he had at Kasparov, and Kasparov was able to withstand the attack in really nice fashion. He doubled up his rooks on the e-file. Really nice example of defense, but I don't know that I can properly call that my favorite game. This position is awful for me. Teenage Lightning is playing really well, but I'm surviving. I'm doing the best I can. I'm running, I'm ducking, I'm dodging, I'm weaving. Ooh, he's being ultra aggressive. Maybe I can take this pawn. Maybe. We got to take a chance. I mean, let's see what happens. The house was burning down otherwise. This is still good for white if white plays it right, but it's getting a little more complicated. Dipping, diving, and dodging. Yes. Oh, boy. We got to take, I think. We must. My best chance is on the clock. The fact that they only have 30 seconds left. I'll tread carefully, John. Don't. Oh. I think I got to go this way. Oh, boy. This is looking bad. Guys, this could be fatal. I have some chances still, but this is not looking good. Oh, boy. That's a good move. Oh, boy. No, that's bad. This could be the game. My position is so bad. I'll try to counterattack. Oh, that was also awful. You can just take. Run. Back rank. Protect the king. Oh, he plundered a piece. Oh, man. I'm sorry, Teenage Lightning. That was the ugliest game of the day by far, and I'm not talking just because I was using the horsey set and playing the Bond Cloud. That you were crushing me. You played some great moves there. You got the knight into e6. Yeah. So white's working with about a +4 advantage here after king e7 on move 2. But we had to do it for the memes. Yeah. So good game, Teenage Lightning. I mean, that knight on e6 gave me a ton of grief. I think this was well played too. You know, you just let the attack develop. You didn't try to force things too much. And my king was on the run. My original intention here, by the way, was bishop c5. I didn't even consider, actually. But I was originally intending to play king b8 to try to dodge the checks. But then I noticed bishop f4, and I thought, I'm busted. Yeah, this is just mate in 4. So I took my chances with this, which was also awful. but let's just... That's a number that's going to continue to increase until Stockfish finds force mate. That was a dirty flag, yeah. Very dirty flag. At one point, there was a mate in 7. Just rook takes. Wow, and this is so bad because knight e6. Is knight e6 unstoppable here? Knight e6 is an unstoppable threat. That didn't click for me. I thought they might be threatening one of these rooks here because of the pin, but knight e6, white can just pre-move that if they take with that rook. Brutal. All right, well, I escaped by the skin of my teeth. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this Lichess Plays. This is a lot of fun, as always. Shout out to Lichess. Consider supporting. It's a great site. Looks like we're going to raid Chess Guy after this. Thanks again to the mods. Thanks for everyone who tuned in and challenged. Apologies to those I wasn't able to get to today. There are other Lichess Play streams upcoming by other streamers as well as me. So I will probably see you guys a week from today at the same time. So take care. Thanks again, Numeroid. Appreciate all the mods in the chat. Yeah, you all take care. No Joke Chess, by the way, if you're still there. Thanks again. Plu Crow as well.